Yeah.
And I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get a glass of water. And suddenly I was pulled out of my body, like being sucked out of your body. And I found myself falling through the air, and I landed in this actual prison cell in hell. Rough-hewn stone walls, bars, filthy, stinking, dirty prison, like a dungeon.
Yeah.
Now, this was an out-of-body experience. This was a vision, okay? I've never had one like this before, but anyway, it was actually a prison cell. And there were these demonic creatures in this cell.
What were they like?
Reptilish in appearance, bumps and scales all over their bodies.
Yeah.
These particular two were about 12 or 13 feet tall. There's even scripture for that, but...
Did they look like anything that you've ever seen a picture of?
Yes. There are some depictions that are pretty accurate. One was in Dr. Kenneth Hagin's testimony that John Osteen's church showed about a demon that he saw, Dr. Kenneth Hagin.
What did they do to you? Or did they do anything?
They were, first of all, they were blaspheming and cursing God. They had an extreme hatred for God.
All right.
They were deformed, twisted, grotesque creatures, and then they directed that hatred towards me. And I wondered, why? What have I done to them? But the one picked me up, threw me into the wall, tremendous strength. I collapsed on the floor. I felt bones broken. The other one dug his claws into my chest, tore the flesh open. You have a body in hell, but it can withstand this torment. And they had absolutely no mercy, an extreme hatred for God and for man.
No mercy at all?
None.
No.
Not any.
All right, when you were in this cell by yourself with these creatures, was there anybody else around?
At this point, I was alone, just with these creatures. And they began tormenting me. I did feel pain, but I understood most of it was being blocked. And the Lord explained to me on the way back that He did allow me to feel some of the pain, to relate to people that it's not metaphorical or allegorical. It's not a state of the mind. It's real, literal pain you're going to feel in hell.
Well, what about the lake of fire thing? Was there fire somewhere?
Yes, I was taken out of the cell and I was placed over next to this large raging pit of fire. This pit was not the lake of fire talked about in Revelation 20:13 and through 15, but it's the current hell, Sheol. And this pit was just a huge hole in the ground with flames raging high up into this open cavern. And again, it wasn't metaphorical or allegorical, real literal flames. And Pat, this is where I could first see people. There were people literally inside this pit burning. It's the most awful sight to see a person on fire, burning, screaming. The screams were so loud from just millions of people at the top of their lungs screaming.
What were they saying?
Nothing. You can't say anything. You're just screaming in agony. There's no conversation. You don't get to be with people. You're kept isolated and apart. And the demons are tormenting people. You have no conversation. The smells are so foul and putrid, the most disgusting odors, and you're actually breathing in sulfur, and sulfur that's burning is actually toxic. So I wondered, how could it be alive breathing this toxic, foul air? But you continue living. There's not enough air to breathe either, so you have to fight and gasp for even the tiniest bit of oxygen.
What about water? No water?
There's not a drop of water. I was so thirsty. Just a drop would have been precious, like the rich man wanted in Luke 16, but you'll never get that drop. That rich man's still waiting for that drop.
Well, those people, you know, you'd think that they would expire, that they would die, but apparently they can't die.
The body you're equipped with in hell, you live forever, because, you know, we're made eternal beings in God's image, and so our soul is eternal. It won't die. You know, like the burning bush. Remember, you saw it burning and it wasn't consumed. That's something like what it's like in hell with your body. It can withstand these torments, and you want to die. I wanted to die, but you can't die.
You know, that's the most horrible thing when you think about it, just to think that there's no end, that there is no end.
Well, Pat, that was the worst part. I understood that I'll never get out. Never. And to know you'll be there for all eternity without hope. You know, Isaiah 38:18 says, those who go down to the pit cannot hope for thy truth. You have no hope for Jesus because it's too late for them. The decision's final. And that's really the worst part, knowing you're not ever going to get out.
You know, that just grabs people's hearts. I hope the people listening to your testimony will understand what that is. There isn't anything more horrible where you have no hope, no future, nothing except constant pain and torment forever.
It's the most horrible thing. People's minds can't even imagine the horrors of hell. Your mind can't even go there. Any one of these things would kill you. And the darkness, I only could see a little bit through the flames, but the darkness just consumes any of the light from the flames. It is so dark that you can actually feel the darkness. Exodus 10:21 talks about a darkness that may be felt. So that's not an exaggeration, because there's so much evil and wickedness in this place. There's no love of any kind. You understand you're never going to get rescued. There's no angels to protect you. There's no one to talk to. You're not going to get out of this place.
No one to talk to. There's no fellowship.
None.
You know,
none. You're not going to get out. You're not going to
people think there's going to be a lot of their buddies in hell. It doesn't work that way.
That doesn't work that way. You're alone.
You're alone forever.
Forever. And that's why people need to know how important this decision is to make that we have in life here. You know, we serve a loving God. He doesn't want anybody to go to this place. It was made for the devil and his angels, not for man. But man will go there because God loves man so much, he gave him a free will
But
to
I want to
choose.
find out more about what you experienced and saw and felt in hell. Tell me a little more.
There were demons that tore my flesh open. The flesh hung like ribbons. You have a body in hell. The one picked me up, threw me into the wall. I felt the bones break. I felt the pain. And they have an extreme hatred.
Now, did you scream?
Yes,
I
did.
When you were thrown against the wall?
Yes, I did. I'm very calm now, but I wasn't there.
Now, were other people screaming while you were there?
The screams are so loud, Sid, you can't stand it. It's deafening to hear millions of people screaming at the top of their lungs, and you can't ever get away from that. There's no peace or quiet in hell. You have to endure that for all eternity. And like I said, these demons hate you, an extreme hatred they have for God, and they hate you, his creation. And there's nothing you can do to defend yourself. You have no strength in your body. You're completely void of any kind of physical strength. You have to endure the odors, the foul smells in hell are so putrid and disgusting, worse than any open sewer, and the smell of burning sulfur. And sulfur is actually toxic to breathe. And you wonder, how could I be alive, breathing this toxic air, but yet you keep going? There's not enough air to breathe in hell. Just like here, we need air. You don't have enough air there. You have to fight and gasp for even the tiniest bit of air. And this is how you breathe in hell. It's like, that was as much air as you could get. So any moment you feel like, I'm going to die from a lack of oxygen.
Okay, now he was in hell, even though he was a believer, and it was blocked from his mind that he was a believer. And tell me about the moment you got rescued.
I was observing all these people burning in this big, huge, raging pit of fire, surrounded by demons all around me. I was standing on a bed of maggots, just solid maggots. It's disgusting. I was being pulled up this tunnel, and suddenly this bright light appeared. I knew immediately who it was. I said, Jesus. And he said, I am. And when he said, I am, I collapsed at his feet. And he touched me. And when I came to, Sid, I didn't see his face, just the outline of a man standing in this bright, pure, holy light. And I didn't want to ask him any questions, but thoughts started coming to my mind. He wanted me to share with people what's in the Word, because this is not a message of condemnation. It's just simply a message of warning. So we're here to share information to enable people to make an informed decision.
Oh, okay, what did he say next?
He said, he answered some of the thoughts I had in my mind, but one of them was, why, Lord, didn't I know you? And he said, because I wanted you to experience the hopelessness that they feel in hell, that you'll never get out. This is for eternal. He said, this is forever. They'll never get out of this kind of torment. That's why it's so horrible.
You told me that to experience being separated from God for the first time in his life, what was it like?
Well, see, here it said, you know, in James 1:17, it says that every good gift comes down from above. Well, in hell's a place prepared that has nothing to do with God. He's withdrawn his attributes from hell. That's why hell's so horrible, because his attributes have been withdrawn. So the good we enjoy in life all come from him. If you want nothing to do with God, there's a place prepared that has nothing to do with him. That's why it's so awful. You don't experience friendship and fellowship and sleep and rest and strength and pleasant odors and all that. You don't, because God has withdrawn himself from that place.
Was there a real pit of fire?
It's literal burning fire, real flames. That's why Jesus warned about hell. In 46 verses, he talked about hell, and 18 of those verses are about the fires of hell.
You saw people in the pit, actually.
And I saw people burning, flesh hanging off their bones. I'm telling you, it's the most awful thing to see people burning. Screaming in agony, burning, and it was heat. I felt the heat. And that's why I want to warn people, this place is real. If they could see it for 5 seconds, they would change.